Alright Bonehawks, this video is about teleports in Mortal Kombat 11. I wanted to rank them from worst to best, just as kind of a fun thing to do, you know, so I did a little bit of a deep dive, kind of learned a little bit about teleports because I don't really use them a whole lot, so I just wanted to check out the frame data and how fast they are, how slow they are, the actual use, how expensive they are in some cases, and so yeah, I've compiled a list. I'm going to go starting with what I think is the worst teleport and ending with what I think is the best teleport. There's probably obscure abilities that I've missed here in the game, so let me know if there's teleports I left out and if they're any good. I really don't think I missed out any good ones, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong, and you let me know in those comments down below. I also don't consider a teleport to be anything that like moves forward fast, like Kano Ball or Blade Charge. Do I have Blade Charge equipped? No, I don't. That would have been a perfect example for me to show it off, but just something that like physically moves you from one place to another. So, anyways, let's get into it.
Accept your death.
Okay, so the first one on my list is Shiva's Stomp. What a move that fell from grace, huh? Like, this used to be like the most broken crap in the game. It was so annoying and hard to deal with, but now like you literally just like walk and just she'll whiff every time. Into a full punish. So, unfortunately, Shiva's the first one here on this list. On to the next one. Alright, so next on the list we have Katana. And the reason that I put her slightly above Shiva is she does have this kind of move here, which is actually a little bit useful. It's not completely useless. She also has some dives that she can do from this, but those are super unsafe and like there's not really any reason to do them. So those are kind of a moot point. It's super easy to see it coming and it's super startup, but this move could be okay-ish, but still like this is the bottom of the barrel here. Like this is, ooh, let's teleport in the air. Look, she looks so funny floating down. Sorry, that's fun. Anyways, that's Katana's teleport. Moving on. Okay, so next up is Liu Kang, and I was kind of hesitant to put him this low because Liu Kang as a character is very good, but we're just talking about the actual teleports themselves here. So first, you have to activate a buff. The buff is only active for so long, so you kind of have to, your opponent knows within that time frame, you're probably going to teleport or do something. The startup, he kind of bursts into flames, so it's kind of easy to see that coming. I will say, if you've watched any of my streams, I am old AF, and I'm using that as an excuse. I cannot react to this thing online. It fucking gets me every time. But the counter to it is just to literally just neutral jump. Like, as soon as you see him do this little flame thing right there, the startup, just neutral jump, and you'll beat every single option. There's not a single option he can do that can beat you out of it. So, although you do have the advantage of it being a little bit quicker, especially online, the fact that it's so easily countered at a very high level, I don't see this being very, very good. So, unless your opponents are me the whole way through a tournament, I don't think this teleport is very good at all. But I'm also surprised they gave Liu Kang a teleport at all. Like, he didn't have everything else that he needs, right? Like, why give him a teleport? Anyways, I'm ranting. Let's move down the line more. So that's the end of what I dubbed as the worst tier. So that's like the bottom tier teleports in the game. Now we're moving on to the next tier that I call, it's alright. Like, it's okay. It has its uses. It's might be a little bit dangerous in some aspects, but I think it's perfectly okay if you want to use it. And the first one is Jade. So we have Jade with I can't remember what the move's actually called. I just looked at it too. Vanishing Wind is where she... Now, where this move is kind of useful is that it is a low on the first hit, so you have the mix-up between the low and the actual teleport itself. And because she has so many tools to begin with, this just adds one more tool to the repertoire. That being said, you can like neutral duck off the second hit and punish her. Some moves like Baraka's forward 2-1, you can just straight up wait for her to teleport to the other side and punish her for that. You could just jump over her if you want. So there's counterplay to it, but I mean overall it's pretty solid for her moveset. So just a little bit slow on the startup. If your actions are better than mine, you can probably get it. But yeah, it's an alright teleport. Moving on. So, Molina. Hers is serviceable, I suppose. It's minus 23 on block, but it is a little bit of an awkward punish, especially if you want to try and get a full combo that's not like an anti-air combo. Like, a punish is a punish, don't get me wrong, but, like, you kind of gotta, like, hit her, like, right as she hits the ground. One other nice thing about this teleport, though, is you do have the option to do it in the air, and that's bonus points for me. Especially if you start using things like the air size. You can kind of play, like, this jumping game with her, and jumping in this game can be pretty strong. She's got some pretty good jump in normals. And then if this move hits, you can amplify it, and you can actually choose whether you want to do a side switch or not. Which is pretty cool. I do say I like that a lot. Unfortunately, Molina as a character just kind of sucks. So, I mean, maybe that just knocks the teleport down even more, but like I said, I'm strictly just talking about the teleport itself. It's an alright teleport. It's alright. It's not fantastic, but it's alright. It has a purpose, a clear purpose. I see that purpose. It's in my it's alright tier. So let's talk about Kung Lao. So Kung Lao has the same thing that Molina does with the option to have an air teleport, which is kind of cool. I will say, though, Kung Lao kind of suffers from the same thing that Kung Lao suffered with in almost every Mortal Kombat NRS game, is that the teleport's just kind of slow and easy to react to. Nowhere near, like, you know, like I guess it was pretty good in the first iteration of MK9 when that first came out, and his Meteor Burn one was okay there, but, like, MKX is the same way, later MK9 was the same way, and this move is kind of, I find, the same way. He does have some cool options, like it's basically like a mix-up between all these different moves here. And he's got like a throw as well, and this is actually the first teleport on the list that you can actually like delay. The problem is he's always coming up from the same spot, so it's not really a guess, and like his hat's like right there on the ground. Like it's pretty obvious where he's gonna come up from. You just wait, and a little down one poke and full combo punish. But all in all, it's got some cool utility and can catch people kind of off guard a little bit if you use it the proper way. So yeah, like it's all right. Okay, so this one was almost in the good tier, but the reason I wanted to keep it in the all right tier is one thing. So this teleport has the option to come right next to you, or you can be far away from your opponent, which is pretty cool. However, it's expensive. 2 bars of meter to do this. I'm not sure for how fast the recovery is and the startup. That's expensive. I guess Scarlet's trying to run away, but we're not talking about the character in the game now. We're just talking about the actual teleport itself. Other than that, the recovery's nice, the startup's nice, it's a decent teleport. That's just really expensive to be able to do that. It is definitely a good tool to have, but I just don't think it was quite enough to bump it up to the next tier. And actually, I'm going to talk about where the baseline is for the next tier, right about now. All right, so now we're in the good tier. This is the good place. This is where your teleports are pretty useful, you know. And the reason we're starting with Collector here is because Collector, like Scarlet, it's just a couple frames different on the teleport, but it only costs 1 bar of defensive meter to go all the way over here. That's it. That's just 1 bar. That made all the difference to me. If Scarlet's had 1 bar, it would be right up in this tier too. But the other weird thing about Collector 2 is it's not a traditional down-up teleport. It's down-down 3, which is interesting. But either way, it's a good teleport. Recover's good. Yeah, startup is nice. Option for movement is always good. No air version, but you know, I guess that kind of makes up for the fact that you can do it at distance. So yeah, solid teleport. This is a good teleport. All right, Geras. This is a fantastic teleport. Like 18 startup, 15 recovery. There's not much else to say about this. You know, he can kind of just choose where he wants to put this on the screen and then teleport there at whatever time. So you have multiple different places. What kept this from being any higher for me is the fact that you have to kind of set it up first. And the recovery is more on that, and then that thing's kind of timed. So similar to how we had it earlier, you know that if that's out, there's a possibility that Geras can kind of teleport into it at any time. But look at 18, 15 recovery, that's crazy. But the fact that you just have to put this out and then there's a certain amount of time doesn't create the greatest strategy for me, in my opinion. But the actual teleport itself is pretty boss. It's a pretty boss teleport. Not gonna lie. Yeah, that's a good teleport. That is a solid teleport. All right, Noob Sailboat. This is one of the first teleports we have on the list that you can actually get damage from. And boy, does Noob get damage. I played Noob for a little bit, and like some of the combos and stuff he has are quite fun. So yeah, what I like about this teleport, you have the option to do it in the air. And then you can meter burn it for your combo extender. And I mean, you can hit confirm into it and stuff. Like it's, I don't know, it's, what is it, this one? Yeah. Damage. So yeah, what I will say about it is kind of expensive to optimize it. You know, it does take 2 slots to get both the air teleport and the enhanced teleport, but it can be worth it. You can definitely get a lot of damage, and the startup on it is quite nice too. Like, he just kind of disappears. Where I will say the downside is it's absolutely death on block, and you can just neutral duck to kind of get around it. So just kind of throwing it out isn't the greatest strategy, but if yeah, the actual teleport, getting the damage, it's useful. It's useful. The teleport itself is useful. So much things you can do with this thing. So much things. I think I kind of cheated on my whole only talk about the teleport thing. So don't tell anybody, okay? So let's just stay between us. Understood? Understood. Moving on. Well, moving on to another damaging teleport is Scorpius. Big launcher there. Easily hit confirmable into. Is kind of death on block. You can also Hellport cancel. What? See if I can do it. Now move different places. This is expensive though for 2 ability slots, but it's possible. But yeah, easily hit confirmable into. Teleport's nice. Death on block. I don't know. Feels similar to what I was saying about Noob's teleport. I'm actually going to say very similar about the next one I'm going to talk about. Devorah. The Widow's Kiss. Super quick startup. I get hit by this thing all the freaking time. This is a fantastic counter tool. And since, like, look at that. It's so quick. And then you can also amplify it to get your damage. I don't need to tell you that. You know that. So yeah, all of the damage ones I put in like the good tier. Like, these are all good teleports to have. You just have to make sure that you use them responsibly. And yeah, but the teleports themselves are all really good and they add a lot of value. So there's not really too much to talk about the differences between them, but that's just it. We're going into, let's see, look at my list here. We have 3 teleports left. So now we're moving from the good tier to the great tier, to like, these are fantastic ones. These last 3 were really hard for me to like put in order, and I'm still not 100% sure about what I have them in, but I wouldn't argue a debates either. I know that Patient Impulse says that, well, the Terminator's teleport is the best one in the game, and blah, 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 you know, like actual like quote. But yeah, no, it's a good teleport. 28, only 8 recovery, and then if you want to spend a bar, you can completely kill that recovery. Like, that's nuts. The actual moves list says that it's 53 frames recovery, and that this sends it to 0, so I don't really know. They're dependent on a bunch of things, but the delay on it is nice. Again, you're kind of always coming out the same spot. I think there is maybe an ability that he has that can actually come out in front of you, but all in all, a fantastic teleport. Being able to completely kill the recovery, that's something. That's something else. That's something else, my friend. That is pretty crazy stuff. So, yeah, I like that teleport. It's a great teleport. It's in the great tier. Okay, down to our final 2 teleport. Who's these teleporting Andes? Okay, Raiden. This dude's teleport is absolutely cracked. One of the fastest startup in the game at 11 frames. 19 frames of recovery. You can amplify it to move backwards to be like, oh, teleporting, psych, you thought. Haha. I can move over here. And then I can just kind of like, imagine my meter correctly, you know, just still continue. Like, the mobility with this thing is absolutely crazy. And, you know, sometimes, yes, like with the amplified, it is a little bit unsafe on the recovery, but if you're playing the teleport correctly, shouldn't need to worry about that too much. But The startup being 11 frames is actually cracked. Actually one of the best teleports in the game. Top 3. And that's why it's here. But there is a teleport I think is better. And at this point, if there's only one left, I think you know who it might be. An old friend of mine, you might say. An old stomping grounds. Good old Cetrion. And here's why I had such a hard time placing these. Because, like, honestly, maybe I'd switch Raiden. Maybe. This is... Okay, let's go over Cetrion first. The reason that I like Cetrion here. This is a one-slot move. Like, this is one of the best teleports in the game, and it's one slot. Like, that's a low commitment. But you can have some pretty crazy, you know, things, and her meta variation is actually one of the best in the game. But not only is it just one spot for the teleport, you also get the air teleport as well. Craziness! This can be incredibly useful, especially since she can try to zone, and other people can try and zone her, and then she just jumps over your projectile, teleports behind you, and then there she is. Boom! The downside that I will say is, although she has the ability to teleport away, again, it's expensive at 2 bars. We have the Scarlet problem again here. But, I mean, other than that, I don't know. One slot, air teleport, standard teleport, far teleport. That's a good teleport. But again, the top 3, I'd be open to arguments about switching them around. This is just a fun thing for me. I was kind of like going through and kind of learning about what teleport, and I actually learned a lot in this process, so it was kind of cool. Some things that maybe I thought, well, maybe I can play around with that a little bit until MK12 comes out. So anyways, that's it. What did you think of my list? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did I miss? What teleports did I forget about? Ya dummy? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos all the damn time. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.